I'm still in Stonycroft Cottage Gardens, and I wanted to talk a bit about funerals and coffins, but rather than show me whilst I'm doing it, I thought it would be nicer to have this pleasant backdrop. And I mentioned before how impressed I always am by the precision with which any large royal occasion is carried out, and how proud those young soldiers carrying the Queen's coffin into the church in Scotland, how proud they must have felt, and what a story to tell their offspring in the years to come. And I was, as part of that organisation, I was really impressed to see in the long line of vehicles moving from Balmoral to Edinburgh, tucked away at the back was a spare hearse, presumably just in case the main one broke down. Obvious when you think about it, but until then, not obvious. And when I used to visit Hitchin in Hertfordshire, there's an undertaker's right near a supermarket, and they shared a little narrow entrance, wide enough for a hearse to get down. And I was going to the supermarket one day, and there was a hearse with a coffin in the entrance, just by the supermarket. And I thought, do you know, I bet whoever's in there is going, oh, flipping heck, my last journey, and even on my last journey we've had to come to the flipping supermarket. Yeah, at sad times my quirky sense of humour can come out. And it did at my mum's funeral. My father-in-law had died a few days previously, so you can imagine it was rather a fraught time, as well as a very, very sad and emotional time. And I carried out a lot of the practicalities, but I honestly can't remember having anything to do with the funeral arrangements. I think my dad must have done that by himself. And on the day of the funeral, we got to the chapel, and a set of wheels was produced, and Mum's coffin was placed on there. And I was really, really upset. I didn't want her being wheeled into the chapel that I had spent ages the day before arranging flowers. I didn't want it to be like that, but I had no choice. I couldn't say, oh look, you know, would you mind carrying her instead? So I had to grin and bear it. But then as they were pushing her in, one of the wheels was squeaking. And it took me every bit of strength not to giggle, because I thought, my mum, she would be there with my dad's little oil can, the smell and the sound, which I can always remember, because it too used to go ee, 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 when you squirted the oil. She'd be there leaning out of the coffin and putting oil onto that wheel. So in a way, it lightened the angst that I was feeling. So now that I am angst-free, I'm about to stop and go and have a coffee. Maybe I treat myself to a scone or something. Even though yesterday my son was belittling the fact, oh, garden centres and coffee and cake. Ah, he said, if I ever start doing that, stop me. And I thought, how sad. It's one of my favourite things to do. But as he pointed out, we had to stop him because he would know he was getting old. It comes to all of us, son. There's nothing you can do about it. So thank you for listening to me. As ever, I've rabbited on. Hey-ho. Take care. Look after yourself the best that you can. No matter whether you're young or an old fogey like me, you still deserve to show yourself that TLC. Thank you for joining me. Speak to you soon. Bye.